in this head gland. Inside seals, outside seals, bearings. Get that all done so we can get this cylinder put back together again. If you ever seen these tools like this or not, these are U-cup tools. Different sizes. So if you get a U-cup, here's our U-cup. If you get a U-cup that's really, really stiff, you know, you can take this thing and you can stick it on here and you can wind it up. When you wind it up, it brings it to the inside like that. So once you get it wrapped around it, it goes down inside that U-cup ring and then it swells back out. This U-cup is not that stiff. You know, it's pretty pliable. So I'm going to probably just stick this in here by hand. Remember that the U part, the open part, faces down. Get that baby put in there. They're stiff, but they're not as bad as some of them. I've seen some of them that are pretty tough. So there you see the U-cups in. Next one, we're going to put this seal in. It's got two parts to it, an inner part and an outer part. This is the top. So we'll go down in here and sneak him in there. Make sure he fits down in the groove, all the way down in the groove, and he's not, you know, where it's all in there nice and flat. Run your finger around it, make sure it's good. Now we'll put this extra little piece in there. It goes on top of that. Make sure it's not got a roll or anything in it. So there you can see that it's in here. Run your finger around it. Next one we're going to put in is we're going to put in the bearing, which is nothing to it. Just kind of fold it up, stick it down in the groove. Just like that. Then we're going to put our backup ring on first, down on the bottom. And you have to take you a little punch or something and work it down. Get it down on there, all the way down in the groove. Well, that must be a little bit contrary, huh? Apparently, a little bit contrary this morning. Get all the way down on the bottom and then make sure you get it to lay flat, which sometimes that can be challenging. We're going to get our O-ring, put our O-ring on there, and make sure it's not twisted. So there you have your backup ring and your O-ring. So the only thing we left now is to put in the wiper. Here's our wiper. We're going to take and put a little bit of red Loctite around this. We've cleaned the bore and everything all up. Put a little red Loctite on there so that thing can't never slide up that cylinder rod. That's not good when it wants to slide up the cylinder rod. Get her set on there. Wipe that excess Loctite off of there. So there you have it. It's bottomed out in its bore. The U-cup's in, the seal's in, the bearing's in. So everything in the head gland, outside backup ring and O-ring, everything in the head gland is ready to put back together. This is our new bearing for our piston, and this is our new piston seal, but we don't have it. So now we got this all cleaned up. We got our new barrel. We got our new piston. We put all our seals in our head gland. So now we're going to lubricate all this up. Get this head gland put on first. I like to use this white lithium lube. And I put a little bit right on the end here. Get it all nice. I like to get it all packed down in here between the wiper and the U-cup. Everything in this head gland, that bearing, everything on the inside of that, so that it doesn't, you know, it's lubricated, and even though it's not going to have oil on it right away, it'll be lubricated. Also, that outside O-ring and backup ring, I'm going to put plenty of lube on that. Get that all lubed up real good. We're going to also lubricate that piston while we got our hands messed up. The seal on that piston. We'll wipe plenty on there. Get that all on there like that. And now we're ready to knock that head gland on there. They usually fit fairly snug, so I like to use a pretty good size dead blow hammer. You see where it's tapered on the end of this right here? Some of the older ones, they didn't put that taper on there. And then you had to put on a little piece of metal to get it started. Right there, she went on. See that? Some of the older ones, they didn't put this taper on here. Well, then you had to go to Caterpillar and buy a sleeve that set on the end of this that had a taper on it, or make one yourself, which a lot of times we just make them ourselves. But they cut that rod square. If that rod's cut square and you go to slide that head gland on there, it rips the packing right off. So then you're out of luck. So be ready. Make sure it's got a taper on the end of it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the piston on the end of that. It just sets on there like so. Put a little extra lube on there so it's got a little something. Goes on nice and easy like that. Then we're going to take and we're going to wash the bolt off that holds it on with a little bit of brake clean, and just clean up them threads because we're going to put a little Loctite on there. Remember, this is the same rod, the same head gland, and the same bolt, so we got it marked where the grease fitting goes, so we know where to put it back to. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to put it back, right back in the exact same spot that it come off of. Get us a little dab of Loctite here. Get that bolt started in there. And we'll run it down until it's snug, and then we'll see where it lines, where our marks line up at. Okay, so we need about 90 degrees. See if we can get it. If we can't get it, we'll have to chuck her up in the machine to get it. There she's in. So it's dead center, the top of this is where it needs to be. So I need to turn her just a little bit, not a whole lot. That's about it right there. Inside that barrel, and away we'll go. So now what I did here was I tied my barrel down to my forklift, keep that barrel from moving. We got our bolt holding our piston torqued. Now we're going to lube the inside of this barrel real good. We got our piston lubed up, but we're going to lube up the inside of this barrel. Even though it's new and it's got a little oil in it, I still like that white lithium grease. Put a little bit of that in there. The other thing you want to do is when you go to put your rod back in your barrel, you're going to have to take the dust caps out, both ends. You don't want to start building air pressure in there and you won't get the rod in it because you're building air pressure. Then we're going to get the thing lined up. And then we're going to take our dead blow hammer and we're going to hit on the end of our rod and we're going to get our rod knocked in there. And there she went. Now we'll get our threads to line up. About like that. This is a manual tool. It's made by OTC. And I'll tell you, it's an OTC 7309. It's adjustable to different sizes cylinders. And it is heavy. It is solid. You can put a cheater pipe on it. I don't remember what I paid for. I think around 300 and something. But they make this one, I think they make one or two smaller. Sure is handy to have. When we get down to that O-ring and that backup ring, it's going to start getting a little stiffer. But that's all good. It's all good. Now, we have to tie the girl down to get her torqued, which isn't a problem. We'll tie it down and we'll put our OTC on there and our cheater pipe and we'll torque it. And we'll take the tube and the fittings off the other one and stick on this one and we'll just about be done with it. Like to tell everybody thanks for watching. Usually I type it at the end, but I forget to do this, so thanks for watching, and see what we're going to do next.